happen with their off season. Let's officially go live and let's kick it off here. And start off by saying, look, we're making a lot of videos here on the YouTube channel. More streams are coming tonight, and we are doing a lot more for the NBA draft. We're doing a lot for the off season. So feel free to comment on the video. Feel free to enter the chat if you'd like to. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Again, we're doing so much with the NBA offseason. We're going to have a lot of coverage of it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get into the Knicks. So the Knicks had a very good season last year. I don't think many teams or many people thought that this team would be able to go 41-31 in the season. They had the fourth best record in the East last year. However, they did lose in the first round of the Atlanta Hawks. Look, I think it kind of goes without saying, this team is a very, very good defensive team. But the issue, as we saw in the playoffs, was that they need some more scoring. They need some more shooting ability on the Knicks. So, they got to be able to attack the free throw line. They got to be able to shoot the three. They got to be able to move the ball. I think these are things the Knicks just need to get figured out. I think they will. There is going to be some shooters available. Would a Buddy Hield trade here make sense? There's a lot of different things. But let's talk about their current roster and how it's set up, and then kind of what they face in the offseason with potential free agents, and then maybe some targets. But let's go ahead and discuss this. So Randall's has a non-guaranteed deal for next year. It's going to be guaranteed, and extension talks are going to start kind of heating up. Now, Randall is a good player. He was an all-star last season, but is he a guy the Knicks want to build around for the future? RJ Barrett had a little bit of an uptick in his stats, but do you kind of worry about how, exactly what is his ceiling? Is he an all-star caliber player for the future? Derrick Rose was great for New York. I'm sure the Knicks enjoyed having him be a part of the team. He was really good in the playoffs. Really good sixth man for the team to end the year. Do they bring him back? Does he want to go chase a ring? Does he want to go, somewhere else where he feels like he could win or have a bigger role? All up to Derrick Rose. Nila Tekina's contract is up. I don't know if the Knicks really are high on bringing him back. Doesn't sound like it. So I don't think Knicks fans would be worried about losing him. Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, some veterans that were on the team last year. Noel, I think, deserves to be have a little bit more respect in the league. Look, he's not an offensive player, but he plays defense. He's going to be able to get some rebounds and play some good minutes at the center position. Burks is a talent. He's now, again, 10 years in the league for Alec Burks, but he does have talent. So does New York want to try to bring him back? Obi Toppin didn't get a whole lot of playing time last year, but he is somebody I think the Knicks, could potentially move, actually, if they are not confident with his defense and not confident with him moving forward in the league. Kevin Knox also kind of got lost in the rotation. Alfred Payton as well. Reggie Bullock was a great fit for them, but I don't know if he wants to come back to the Knicks. Maybe he goes to a contender. So there are Emmanuel Quickly. Let's talk about him really fast. Quickly, he was a guy who was all the rave in New York. Very good young star for them. Mitchell Robinson. Inconsistency has kind of been his issue, and then he got hurt this year, so some issue there. Let's talk about potential targets, because the Knicks are trying to get a point guard. Is it Chris Paul? Is it Lowry from the Raptors? Is it Mike Conley? Is it Spencer Dinwiddie? Is it Colin Sexton, who is being shopped currently by the Cavaliers? So they have also these 19th and 21st picks in the draft. So what are they going to be able to do with those? Do they draft? Do they trade up? We're going to talk a little bit about who the Knicks could potentially look at. It's out there. It's Chris Duarte. Really quickly, before we get into that, let's talk about the Knicks and their future. They do not owe their pick to anybody else from here through 2028. It's a huge sign. I think it's very valuable because these picks are assets. They're pieces that can be able to upgrade the team in the short term, while saying we're going to give a draft pick up. We're going to bring in, a guy who fits our team. I think a team would be happy to take a Knicks pick in the future. Other than that, the Knicks are pretty good with their own picks. It looks like they also have Dallas's picks. These, I believe, are from the Dallas Mavericks trade of Kristaps Porzingis when he landed in Dallas. So the Knicks have pieces. They have this Dallas pick as well. So they have these pieces to be able to move forward. Do they maybe want to move off of Obi Toppin or Quickly or Kevin Knox? I think there's a trade out there for the Knicks. Now, what their ceiling can be, like what can they get, I don't know. But they do have the draft capital. If push comes to shove, they do have the draft capital to send to a team if maybe Beal is available, if Damian Lillard is available. Look, they have the draft picks available, and that's always key if you are trying to get one of these big stars to the team. Lillard, Beal, whoever it may be, the Knicks have that ability. Let's jump now into some rumors. Again, we mentioned earlier the Knicks have a lot of interest in Colin Sexton, but also in Chris Duarte. But let's read this first story because this is actually, it looks like it's talking about the Knicks. Trading for the Cavaliers' high-scoring guard, Colin Sexton, could be a buyer beware situation for the Knicks. This is according to Mark Berman of the New York Post. Sexton has a stubborn streak that can turn off his teammates, according to the source, and he might ultimately be more suited to turn into a sixth man like Lou Williams rather than be a number one option at the point. That is interesting. We've heard that there's been a lot of issues within that Cavaliers locker room. There was like that weird quote about like Kevin Love saying that like Sexton doesn't know how to play the game yet. Just really weird. So that's really interesting. The Knicks could also pursue Stanford guard or wing, I should say, Zaire Williams. He worked out for the Knicks. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. Pretty sure this is when we're going to get into the Chris Duarte thing. Yep. Knicks hold the 19th and the 21st picks in the draft. They are aggressively trying to move into the lottery with the hope of landing Oregon guard Chris Duarte. So Duarte is being valued by the Knicks, and the Knicks are going to try to get into the lottery to be able to draft him because apparently they're trying to leapfrog both the Warriors and the Wizards. So what does that look like exactly? We'll see if they can land their guy. They have their target. We'll see what happens. If the Knicks cannot move up, West Virginia point guard Miles McBride and VCU point guard Nashawn Highland are potential targets at 21. And that is reported by John Wasserman of Bleacher Report. Let's see what else we got here. Justin Patton's going to play with the Jazz and the Knicks during the summer league. Knicks have interest, it looks like, in Shamet. The Knicks, let's see here. One key decision maker in the Knicks front office has embraced the idea of signing Spencer Dinwiddie. Again, it sounds like they're like trying to get a point guard there. Let's see here. Who hears at least one of the other clubs to plan to make a strong point guard offer. Bagley also confirms that Martin DeRozan is among the other free agent guards on New York's radar. They'll likely go after DeRozan if they're able to acquire Damian Lillard in a trade. They're more likely to go after DeRozan. Ooh, look at that. I'm going to write that down as a kind of a key thing to note in the offseason. Knicks search for point guard. Interesting, because the Knicks, look, we all know they need it. I don't know if they're like too enamored with bringing back Rose as like a starting point guard. I think he's definitely off the bench kind of a guy, but we'll see. The Cavaliers have been contacted by the Knicks with that number 3 overall pick. So the Knicks are everywhere. I think the Knicks making a deal on draft night is probably going to happen, whether it is for Chris Duarte. Are they going to try to get into the top 3? Can they be able to pull something off where they can get some free, maybe some of these young guys to other teams for a better player? We'll definitely see. Let's take a look here. That looks like it's it for the Knicks. Landry Shamet, The Warriors turned down a Knicks offer of number 19 and 21 for the number 14 selection. Interesting. Yeah, the Knicks are trying to get up. I mean, that's the kind of that's the skinny of it. The Knicks are going to try to trade up into the lottery. If they do, awesome. If they don't, they will probably try to go get another guard in the draft, a point guard, with their picks. So that is going to end our stream for the Knicks. Again, we are doing more streams. We're doing all the rest of these playoff teams. The next 3 teams that we're going to talk about, the Dallas Mavericks is up next. So stay with us if you want to learn a little bit more about Dallas. Portland after Dallas, and then after Portland will be the Milwaukee Bucks, the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. So stick with us. We're going to start the Maverick stream in just a few minutes.